let's get on with the show now. Talk about the development of rugby in Nigeria. A lot of you guys don't know that rugby is big in this country. There's the senior men's national team known as the Black Stallions. Someone said, why the Black Stallions? Well, virtually everything we have happens to be the green, or the green, white, green. But rugby lately has been quiet. Yeah, that's because we're waiting for the new leadership to come in. Some controversy at the June 13th election. It didn't take place, but everything is okay now. There is a new president of the Nigeria Rugby Football Federation. His name, Mr. Kelechi Mbagu. He is ready to lead the rugby in Nigeria to international standards. Kelechi Mbagu joins us now live in the studio. Good to have you on Sports Tonight.
Thank you very much.
Okay, fantastic. Let's begin with first, that suspension by the African body. Yes, we need to talk about it because a lot of persons are asking questions. They're worried. Before it was because of what happened at the election. What's the discussion now?
Well, it was a conditional suspension. They wanted to hear that we had, had a democratic election and a new board was in place. The truth is, we had a little bit of back and forth on some constitution, which hadn't been ratified. But we used, if you like, the conventional means of holding the election. It was the Sports Federation that engineered the guidelines. The elections were democratic. Every state in the country participated, and a new board has been formed. Now, officially, Rugby Afrique had not been informed, which I can disclose that they have been informed now, and they have actually acknowledged that they've received that information from the NOC, which is the proper body to give the information.
So now we're waiting for their response.
Yes, that the lifting of the suspension will be very, very soon.
That's right. That's coming from the streets, from followers of rugby. Let's get into the show proper now. Before emerging president of the Nigeria Rugby Federation, who was Kelechi Mbagu to rugby in Nigeria?
Well, I was a rugby enthusiast. I still am. I was a sponsor, I was a club owner, and when I was much younger and fitter, I was a player.
Oh my God. So we have an all-round administrator right here. Rugby isn't so big in Nigeria, but for some of us that are following it, because my job, I have to follow to know rugby. What can you do to give rugby some following in Nigeria?
That's a very good question, and that's what the board is working on right now. The first thing, I believe, is to have a proper structure, a foundation, to have an organization that will stand the test of time. If you study what's been happening over the years, after one rugby board leaves, the other one starts, and they go back to square zero. Start everything again, even creating new email addresses and things like that. Ridiculous. In other sports, all they do is hand the portfolio over to the Sports Federation, and the Sports Federation hands it over to the new body coming in. Now, rugby needs a proper organization, a proper structure. The mistake we've been making in the past is that we seem to think that only ex-rugby players and, people within the rugby community should be involved. And that's limiting our scope. So right now, the board has taken a decision. Seasoned administrators will be brought on board. And the organization and the structure will be properly set out. And that means that rugby will simply build on what it's already done before.
I was following the Women's Rugby World Cup, and I must tell you, it's amazing to see women play rugby. We know of the Black Stallions. We know of the league. Women's rugby in Nigeria, it's also quiet. How can we revive it?
Well, it was quiet because it was neglected, completely neglected. The last time our women went out, incidentally, I was the sponsor as well, when they went to Ghana and, they came second. They were runners-up to the eventual winners, Tunisia. And that was quite a feat, considering that we put the team together in about a space of 2 weeks. Our women are natural athletes, and a lot of them have sustained the passion for rugby over a decade since I've been following women's rugby in Nigeria. If you look at our board, the vice president is the representative of women in sports, Gracie Yoha. And her duty there is to revive women's rugby in Nigeria. So you're going to see a complete revival, and what the board intends to do is to set up a circuit, a 7th circuit for women's rugby. So hopefully we'll start with about 4 tournaments around the country, and in a year or 2, we'll be able to have 6 tournaments, that is 1 in every geopolitical zone.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Are you watching Sports Tonight on Channels Television? We're taking a look at the developments of rugby in Nigeria. We have the new president of the board, Kelechi Kumbagu, with us in the studio. Kelechi, let's talk about some aggrieved members because of what happened at the June the 13th election. And I know some of those persons are still in your board. How do you intend to carry them along? Because leadership is very key in this aspect.
That's the whole point. They are part of us. The elections are over. Now, everybody should prove his or her passion for the game and your patriotism for the country. We are one board now, and we don't want to fail. One board and we don't want to fail. Just hold it right there. We'll come back to other aggrieved members. Talk Sports Tonight on Channels Television. Let's take a breather now. When we come back, Kelechi Kumbagu, the new president of the Nigeria Rugby Football Federation, will talk to us about grassroots development and, of course, the league. Don't go anywhere. Stay.